who would ever thought that a secular event could be an outreach for one that isn't? You're doing more than just playing the game, you're doing it for a purpose.
Hey, welcome. I'm Mac Mayer. We want to talk about if there's a way that you could use your passions, your gifts to impact your community. Our motto is how to have a church larger on the outside than it is on the inside. I've got a great friend here that is a great example of using his passions for the kingdom. And with me, George Amaral, welcome.
Great to be here. Thanks, Mac.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Hey, so tell us a little bit about your passion. I know your passion is Jesus, but you have a secondary passion.
Yeah, golf has been my passion since 1968.
Wow.
Been playing it a long time.
Okay.
A little bit of a historian, pretty good teacher.
Yeah.
The game has always been exciting to me, but now it's taken a new level because you're doing more than just playing the game, you're doing it for a purpose.
Right.
By making it an outreach piece.
So let's talk about how do you utilize that for an outreach? You've got golf, that's been a passion for you. How does that work?
Well, first of all, we keep the game in the way that this is structured with Idaho Golf Fellowship.
Okay.
Is that number one, it's for fellowship, number one.
Mm-hmm.
They try to keep competition out as much as possible.
Right.
And then the fellowship then kind of evolves towards nonprofit organizations. We help them raise money or manpower to do their tournament.
So Idaho Golf Fellowship, they are what?
They are a Treasure Valley, Idaho ministry, nonprofit ministry, where we take free will offerings. We have, right now it's made up of about 18 chapters of men that meet weekly at different golf courses for fellowship and Bible study, and then they play golf.
Okay, so this is all over the state of Idaho going on.
All over, yeah. In fact, right now we have 2 new ones in Oregon.
Okay,
yeah,
fantastic.
So we're starting to spread our wings.
All right.
We're pretty proud of what we're doing. We're only 6 years old.
Wow.
I've been with them for 4.
Okay.
And we're running about 1,200 members right now.
1,200?
Yes.
So 1,200 guys are getting together on a regular basis. They're talking about you said a Bible study or
Bible study, which is issued by Idaho Golf Fellowship and sent out digitally to all the leaders.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a leader of Life Chapter, of course, here at Life Church. Then those groups take in free will offerings, and that chapter chooses a nonprofit organization to support.
I see.
In not in its fullest, but
yeah, that you donate towards.
Correct. Yeah. But then the large organization takes on nonprofits that want to have a tournament to raise funds.
Okay.
And then we sponsor holes, we fill it with players, we'll do whatever they do.
So last year, how much money were you guys able to give away to nonprofits?
Last year was our highest year.
Yeah.
Over $85,000.
$85,000?
Yes.
Fantastic.
To nonprofit. And they're really proud. In the 6 years now of our age, we've given and been able to support nonprofits to the tune of $200,000.
Over $200,000.
Yes.
So it's money that's been raised to be able to empower and facilitate, finance other ministries or
other outreach ministries.
Yeah.
Now within our group, obviously, if you were just a guy on the street, and you wanted to play, we have on our business cards the QR code. You pick the chapter or the golf course you want to play at.
Yeah.
And you just let them know you'd like on, and they make room for you. So that's become a place for the non-Christian to become a Christian.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's made a place for a guy that doesn't want to tee it up with a bunch of people with a different opinion about the Word of God.
Yeah.
You get to tee it up with other believers.
So really positive association.
Very much so.
Now, I know that you've got a heart for non-believers.
Yes.
I think you've had some interactions where you've been able to use golf to be able to introduce other people, get around other people that are pre-Christian, so to speak.
Sure, right. And, the exciting thing about that piece is that who would ever thought that a secular event could be an outreach for one that isn't, right? And that's what just excited me when I ran across Idaho Golf Fellowship.
You're right.
I go, whoa, here's an inroad, drawing guys in who would love to play in a tournament that don't know God.
Yeah.
And now they're going to come over here and fellowship with all these great believers.
So we got these golfers, non-Christian. They want to play golf. They enter the tournament, and now they're shoulder to shoulder with you.
They're going to hear about it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Just recently, in fact, I found a group of guys that met regularly at one of the local golf courses, and I introduced myself. And I says, you guys play together? Like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't long to realize that 85% of them didn't know the Lord.
Okay.
And so I've continued to play on the days that they play when I have opportunity.
Okay.
And so I've entered into that group and then invited them over to the light side,
right.
and they've participated in some of our tournaments, so it's kind of exciting.
So it's really that friendship evangelism.
Oh, absolutely.
And now you guys have a reason to get together around golf, to be able to interact, and
it's the on-ramp that you find so difficult in life.
Right.
It's hard to do it. Sometimes it's difficult to do it on the job because they don't want you sharing your faith at work.
Yeah. Okay.
Or okay, I'm going to have lunch here. Who am I going to? Everybody wants to eat. Everybody needs to eat. But who do you invite? Right.
Right.
Whereas golf gives you that on-ramp. Hey, you want to go play golf?
There you go. We got a commonality that we agree on. We both love this sport, and so we can get together, and then we're going to be walking around.
It's opened the door to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here again, our main focus, Idaho Golf Fellowship, is helping other nonprofits do what we're talking about doing, and that's saving the lives. But the fun thing is that along that same path, you get to do that work of the ministry also.
That's fantastic.
So you could play golf any day of the week with a bunch of other believers.
There's chapters going.
There's chapters going. Plus, you had Bible study and fellowship beforehand.
Oh, I see. Fantastic.
They meet in the clubhouses. They meet at little restaurants for Bible study and fellowship, and then they go play golf.
So it's really bringing the unity to the body of Christ.
Correct. And spiritual growth is there.
Okay, yeah, for
because,
sure.
You
we're sharpening each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your background. I think you've got a very unique background. And so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Early years of my life in the business world, got saved at an early age, maybe a late age, of 28.
Okay.
And then went to Bible school and then went into ministry full-time in 1986.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So business world, and I understand you were very successful, very driven in the business world to succeed. And then you shifted into following God. What role did you take within the church?
Well, I worked, which God has really blessed us, and the role in the church was Terry and I together, obviously, my wife. We've always been partners in ministry, which has made it, I guess, easier, yet still challenging, of course.
Right.
But worked with Dynamic Ministries as associates, as assistant pastors. Later, we pioneered a couple of churches in Canada. So then we were what you would call on our own, making all the crucial calls. And then back in ministry, back in the States, worked with another large ministry in a great community. Yeah.
So really, you saw the church from a lot of different directions.
Yes.
And I think in Canada, you oversaw, 30-some churches?
There were over 30-something churches in Canada that I helped oversee and helped them navigate through life.
Yeah, fantastic. In general, how well do you think the church does at impacting people outside of their walls?
That's a tough question, Mac. Number one, from my seat today, we didn't do well.
Okay.
In my experience.
Okay.
Of course, the churches that I worked with and stuff. And the number one thing was that our framework, our box that we lived in as a church, as a ministry, or whatever you were doing, if you didn't fit in that, then reaching out wasn't even an option.
Okay.
So, in other words, if your plan to facilitate financially and time-wise, if it took up more than what you had, you didn't go there.
Okay. So there was nothing really structured or on purpose and...
No. Well, there were some things, but then they were also planned out events. In other words, I'm going to use one that I know we were real familiar with, and that was a clothing ministry and a food ministry.
Yeah.
And we call it the pantry and a dress shop or whatever it was. And we gave it out to those in need, whether they were in the... But they had to come to us. We didn't take those ministries out into the world where it was most needed.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Now, is there any tips that you would give people that maybe they've got a passion or something and they said, I like X, and how do I utilize that for a ministry? Or how can I utilize that?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Just 2 weeks ago in church, I met someone, a first-time guest, and I introduced myself to him and find out he's in ministry.
Okay.
I forget the name of it now, but it's one that's quite prevalent. And so we were talking, and he asked me what I was doing, and I shared with him. And he goes, I'm into paddleball. And I go,
pickleball?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
You know that I don't play.
That's all right. I get it.
And so anyway, he says, "You think I could do that?" I said, "Absolutely."
Right.
I says, "You find your arenas, you find your groups."
Right.
I says, "Start with a group, invite them in for Bible study, or invite them in to look over new paddles or whatever,
Right. Right.
And from that point, you start forming groups, and you could have contests.
Right.
And before you know it, you're reaching out to. Do you realize that community, how large it is? And it's the wave right now, right?
Yeah, very popular.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And so a few days ago, he emailed me back and said, "George, it's working."
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
He's taking those steps moving forward.
So he's taken a passion that's his.
Right.
Now, who would have thought, Pat, come on.
Pickleball.
Pickleball,
Yeah,
thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to rename it and start over.
It is an interesting name.
Who cares? Yeah. Paddle, I get. Pickle, I don't. How does that work?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So what would you tell a pastor or ministry leader that maybe they haven't done as well at impacting their community? Mm-hmm. What's any suggestions you'd give them? Obviously, from your chair of many years in the ministry.
Outside of reading some of your books.
Okay.
Which would help them to get the mindset for it.
Okay.
To know that,
you.
This opens the door.
Thank you.
Yeah. And without having that information, it makes it a little more difficult, because I know as a pastor prior to coming here and enjoying a place where I could spread my wings a little easier.
Yeah.
We create within the church not meaningful or doing it out of, making it hard on you, but we have hoops that we'd like you to jump through so that we know we can trust you, or that we have control. Or
which
that
there's a reason for.
Yeah, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we just loosen the reins a little bit and allow people to take that step and know that it's their energy, their vision, their excitement that'll drive what God's called them to do, and then we give them the playground to do it from, or the fishbowl, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Now, I think two things that you were telling me earlier is that pastors struggle with, if we're going to do outreach ministries, there's two factors, and one of them is my time. How do I facilitate this? And then the other is that money. That could be a budget item.
Yes.
So any thoughts that you'd give us in that area?
Well, number one, if a pastor realizes that the energy is going to come from the one that's called.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have to come up with some more time on my calendar to help drive this. Just to be there for that individual. That
the pastor doesn't have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're going to spend that time with that individual anyway.
Okay. Because
he's a key person.
Okay.
Because he's following God.
Okay.
So you're making sure he's well, he's strong, he's growing in the Lord, those types of things. But then on the other hand, the monies and the time are going to come in from that individual's efforts.
Okay.
And the group that he'll pull around him that are also interested in what he's doing.
So the time and money thing is really kind of solved within the process.
In the process.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. We want to, it's interesting to me as I talk to pastors, and I hear this over and over again, that people, they come to their pastor and they say, "Pastor, I have this passion on my heart to do X ministry." And pastors really don't know what to say to that and how to facilitate that. And I think we get that a common answer could be no, because we don't understand that fully.
Or it doesn't fit in our
Doesn't
box.
fit. Now, what would you tell that pastor now? Would you just say, keep that model, or what would you encourage him on?
Well, the thing that I would encourage him, number one, is get a hold of the Empowered Church and the Outreaching Church. Those two, they'll be manuals
to understand the concepts of how to do that.
Of how to do it.
Yeah.
The other important thing is what we're saying no to is how am I going to afford this and where am I going to find the time?
Right.
So say yes to the individual and say, I'm here for you. Now tell me how you're going to make that work.
Okay. So there's a way that we can help them walk through God's call in their life.
For sure.
There is that structure.
Yeah. But I know from 5 years ago, I couldn't have answered that question, Mac.
Okay.
It's because I've spent time here and seen how that works.
Okay.
And I've seen how it works very effectively.
Yeah.
It doesn't put restraints on you to make that fit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't put restraints on me because I can go ahead and fly
Right.
exactly how God's told me to fly.
With that passion.
Yes.
Be responsible.
And not have to change the label or whatever else to make it fit.
So you don't think it would hurt anybody's church to grow outreach ministries?
Not at all. In fact, I'm thinking of two churches that I served in that in their community they may not have been effective as they could have been if they would have allowed some of the people that I knew that were around me that had ideas that were shot down.
Okay.
Because it didn't come from others.
I get it.
Sometimes in a church it can become political.
There's kind of that bureaucracy of
absolutely.
Who do you know? And
yeah, and is it can we make it work? And then if we put those monies in there, then we won't have monies for what we had planned to do.
Right.
I think it's well worth taking I hate to use the term take the chance.
Yeah.
Because it really isn't.
It isn't. I think get a better understanding.
Yes.
Of really how that they can facilitate those ministries.
And there's no one better to explain that than yourself.
Well, God's given me a lot of, he's really helped me to be able to get that information. But thank you. That means a lot coming with your business background and definitely your ministry background. Any other encouragement, George, that you would give to people?
Just thinking about the few that we've been involved with, the two of us together personally, where we had that one individual come in and her first questions was, how much can you give me to get started?
Yeah, right.
And can I be in the bulletin? And can you advertise it up front? And we said no to all of those.
Right.
Right to her face. And I'm sitting there with a lot of the old thinking in hand. I'm there. You can't tell this lady no. She's burning. She wants to get going here. And yet. And you could see the knee jerk in her because we're telling her no, and she's there.
No to these things, but yes to a
go for it.
Yeah, to, and we'll show you how to do that.
And we'll show you how to do it.
And what's fun about her ministry is now they're impacting hundreds of people, and it's really powerful to see all the fruit of that ministry.
And the people that are coming alongside her. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because they have the same passion, but they didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And now they have an arena to play in.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, George, thanks so much for your ministry. Thanks for your heart of serving God and really connecting with other golfers. It's amazing and fun to see that happen. And I look forward to many more years working together with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Mac.
God bless you.
Bless you.